Hey guys, karibuni tena to yet another fantastic episode here at KALUHI'S kitchen. Today we're going to do things a little bit different and we're going to get into all things ovens, all things cookers, and I hope I've gathered enough information so that you guys can benefit from this. I get so many questions from Kenyans specifically about ovens, cookers, how to use, how to bake, etc. So I hope this video covers all that. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I love you so much. And to my new watchers, I do hope you get to learn something from this video. And after this video, bonyeza that subscription button. That said, let's begin. Karibuni sana. Okay guys, so now we're going to get into it, and the points I have made are according to the questions I get openly on my Instagram DMs. I hope to cover everything, but in case I haven't covered what you want to know, comment down below and I'll answer to the best of my ability. So the first question, Kaluhi, what's the make of your oven? I often get this question, like a week doesn't go by without me getting that question, and I've gotten that question since I started blogging in 2014. So the make of my oven is Elba. The brand is Elba. We bought this oven, this cooker, in 2012. It's nearly a decade. It has never broken down. It has never faltered. It has never fidgeted. Like, it's value for money. We bought it in 2012 from Nakumat. It cost 110,000. However, the same brand is also in Carrefour and Builders. It costs, I think, 120k present day. That's a 10,000 shilling surge, but understandably, time changes, price increases. You can get it at Carrefour and at Builders, and also at Carrefour, this exact brand, 120k. There's a cheaper one that has a smaller oven that costs about 70k, and then another one that has a bigger burner at the center that costs 150k. Whichever one fits that budget. If you're interested in getting the exact brand I have, go for that one. Okay, so now I've told you the make of my oven, how much it costs, and where to find it. Now I get this other question a lot. Kaluhi, which brand of oven should I buy? Ninunue gani? Tell me what to buy. And this question is actually so difficult because if I'm being 1000% honest, I cannot decide for you what you want to buy. So what should you consider when you want to buy an oven? Number one, for me, which is the most important, your budget. Number two, your use of the oven and the functionality you want to put it to. And number three, the beauty, the sturdiness, and the aesthetics. So number one, the budget. To me, the budget is actually one of the most important things you have to consider while buying any gadget, be it a phone, be it a fridge, be it whatever, makeup. Budget is something you really have to consider before actually making the purchase. So let's say you've said, oh Kaluhi, I want to buy an oven like yours. It costs 120,000. However, my budget is 40,000. What's the logical thing to do? The logical thing to do is go to a supermarket, look at the range of cookers that are within your budget of 40,000. Then whatever fits in your budget, you purchase from that budget. That's pretty straightforward. However, it's something I tend to explain a lot in my DMs. If your budget is a lot wider, maybe 300,000, that way you have the whole range to choose from. That way you can get something a little bit more expensive. However, if your budget is a bit on the lower side, it's totally fine. Just purchase something that is within your budget and something that can fulfill your needs. The second thing you have to consider is the reviews on that cooker, because you don't want to buy something that will serve you for a long time. You don't want to buy something that won't give you trouble, and you don't want to buy something that has also given other people a good experience. So you always have to read the reviews online. If you go online and there are no reviews, guys, we are in the age of information. Just tweet on it. Twitter is actually the best social media platform because you get information real time. Just tweet, what's your opinion on Ariston cookers? What's your opinion on Elba cookers? Who has used a Ramton's fridge and what's your experience? That way you can get information real time from people who have actually used it, and you can make your decision based on that. According to the reviews you get, you can also change your opinion depending on the information you got. And because maybe you wanted brand X, then people said, please don't buy that one. Fridge sounds like a generator, it sounds like a helicopter. So you change your mind and buy brand Y. It's okay to change your mind. Just make sure you gather all the information online and then you decide, which brand would I recommend? I get this question a lot. And it's actually difficult to answer because I have not used all brands in the universe. So I cannot tell you, this one feels like this one mean like this one like this. I can only give you my own lived experience. Because I have only used Elba and my sister has Ariston. Those are the only two cookers I have used, and I can tell you from my own experience, they are actually stellar, value for money, expensive at the point of purchase, but as you can see, ours has been used for a decade and it's heavy use and it hasn't faltered. Iko sawa kabisa. So if you have the money, go for Elba or Ariston. However, your own opinion can override mine and it's totally fine. Go for the brand that you personally like and prefer. Another factor to consider while purchasing your oven, your cooker, is the functionality. By that I mean the intensity of use that the cooker will be subjected to. For example, someone who runs a baking business from home will need a cooker with a wide oven so that they bake chap, and also the oven that can contain a number of loaves, as opposed to a small cooker which will need only like one loaf at a time. Una get? And someone who's straight out of university, they cook maybe thrice a week, or maybe they don't even like cooking, they don't care for baking. For such a person, they'll only need a cooker that gives the basic functions, only the stove top. So that kind of a person will purchase a smaller cooker, likely a cheaper one, and just one that gives them the basic needs. Una get? So also consider your functions. If you're someone who hosts a lot, you need a cooker that has many burners on a stovetop, which will allow you to cook many dishes at a time. But if you rarely host, maybe you travel a lot and you're rarely home, you'll need a cooker that only gives the basic functions. So according to your lifestyle, according to your career, according to your needs, that will also be a guide on which cooker to purchase. Last but not least, the thing you should also consider while purchasing your oven is the beauty. Guys, tunakulanga na macho before anything else. Also color scheme, maybe if your kitchen is all white, you want white everything, or maybe if your kitchen is all silver and steel, you want something silver and steel that fits into the aesthetic of your space. But beyond that, you also want to look at the parts and how sturdy they are. Ukitembea kwa supermarket, just go shika, angalia. Obviously, a cheaper oven will have slightly flimsier parts, which will then mean utakuwa na a tight relationship with your fundi because it will be breaking down. Just go to a supermarket, lift and feel, open, lift and feel the sturdiness, feel the quality, feel the make and the expertise that went into creating that specific gadget. And that will also be a nice guide into determining the longevity, the potential longevity of that particular cooker if you were to purchase it. Now, coupled with the reviews you got on Twitter or Instagram stories, along with you actually going na kuona na macho yako and feeling with your own hands, that will be a very, very good guide into determining the cooker that you need to purchase. Also, the material that's used to make them will not only determine the price, but it will also affect the sturdiness and the longevity of your cooker. For example, a steel cooker, it will need almost no repair in its entire lifetime. It will have no breakdown, no fault. This one, we've had it for a decade. Guys, we haven't repaired it. Haijawai leta shida, like it's just as good as new. A plastic cooker, itakupea a bit of problems, and as you use it, it will wear down a bit faster. So that's something to consider. Do you want to spend a huge sum of money now and never have repairs for the rest of its lifetime? Or would you rather spend a smaller sum of money now, save for later, but have problems and issues in the future? You know, it's always pros and cons, and it's something you will have to decide for yourself. Another question I also get a lot is, Kaluhi, should I get a gas oven or an electric oven? Anyway, this question, it's quite tricky, and is one that I feel that it's all down to preference. It's something that you have to decide for yourself. It's something that you have to decide according to what you feel works better. However, for me, I feel like for an oven, it must be electric, because in my experience, it's more accurate and gives just a sharper result. And for a stovetop, I prefer gas. Even though we have electric burners, we've never even used them. Even though we have like I can if I want to, but we've never. But I prefer a gas burner for a stovetop. So that's something that I prefer when choosing an oven. However, if you prefer a gas oven, it's fine. Everyone has different preferences. Everyone has different likes. Some people swear by gas ovens. Maybe I prefer electric ovens. So whichever way your boat swings, go with it. Okay, sasa tuketi kidogo, my back is aching a little bit, but tuendelee na kazi. So for the next part, I want to talk about oven use, which is something I find that Kenyans specifically find a bit challenging, and I don't quite understand why, but ni sawa, I will help you to the best of my ability. So when purchasing a cooker that has an oven, what is it? Okay, let me put it like this. When purchasing a cooker that has an oven that you intend to actually actively use, what is the thing that you have to look out for? Number one, you have to look for the temperature that is calibrated. Kama imeandikwa medium, high, low, wachana na hiyo, it's a waste of your money, it's a waste of your time. Kama imeachwa tu hivyo, like no numbers, just vibes and guesswork, kai, don't buy it. Like, it's a waste of your money. Baking is very, 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 very dependent on temperature if you want to get high results. I swear, after you can see I'm getting stressed. One of the DMs that's really stressed me is, hi Kaluhi, I made your banana bread. I made it na ilitokea kama mala katikati. Where did I go wrong? The question I always ask without fail is your oven calibrated? And often I get the answer, no, I just guessed the temperature. No, I just followed my heart because my oven is not calibrated. So let me just break it down for you. If your oven is not calibrated, unfortunately, you will never bake something good. It's just the reality. It's just the sad reality. So if you're buying an oven and you intend to use it because you enjoy baking or you want to learn how to bake, make sure it has a temperature knob, and the temperatures are indicated around the knob. It needs to be calibrated. It needs to give you accuracy, and because of that accuracy you will always get a good result. So what happens in the event that you bought a cooker and you love it, but it doesn't have temperature, which makes it pretty much useless? So what you can do about that is go to Vitu Zote. I think they are in Sarit, they are at Junction, and I think online as well. Buy an external temperature. If you don't have a calibrated oven, you will need an external temperature for you to get a good result. Temperature is very, very important, but just to save your time, to save your money, to save you from the heartbreak of backfired recipes, just ensure that if you do intend to bake a lot, make sure that you buy an oven that has a temperature knob that is not only present but is also accurately calibrated. On top of the temperature knob, another thing you really have to consider while purchasing a cooker which you intend to bake with is the knob that indicates the multifunctionality of your oven. By that I mean it should indicate where the heat comes from, because the heat comes from up, down, that fulfills a certain purpose. Sometimes it can also come from only above, fulfills a certain purpose. It also has a convection fan, and you can have your heat coming up, down, and also have the fan on. It's like each function will give you a different result according to what you're making, according to if you're grilling, if you're baking, if you're just warming the food. It will give you a different result. So if you want to use the entire range of your oven, make sure that it has as many multifunction properties as possible. If you're not sure about what the icons mean, your oven comes with a manual, so just make sure you go through the manual and get to learn what your oven is capable of. Also, while we're still on the oven topic, I also get this question a lot. Kaluhi, what is preheating and why do I need to do it? Now, hapa ndo huwa nanasa watu pia. DM inaingia, Kaluhi, I made your banana bread, ikatokea kama uji. I don't know what I did wrong. The other question, number one, I always ask, is your oven calibrated? Then I also ask, did you preheat your oven? Hapo ndo huwa nanasa watu. Preheating means, okay, in layman's terms, preheating means wacha oven ishike moto before weke kitu ndani. That's what it means. Preheating just means usiweke kitu ndani before ikwe moto. Preheating means let your oven become hot enough before you put your cake batter in. Tumeshika? Excellent. So how long should you preheat? This one, don't overthink it. It just means wacha ishike moto, then you put your thing inside. But roughly I'd say give it 5 minutes, give it even 10 minutes, give it 2 minutes, give it, okay, actually it's quite abstract. Let me just say, give it about 5 minutes. Then once it's hot, you put your thing in. At what temperature should your oven preheat at? Now, this is also another thing. If you're baking a cake at 180 degrees Celsius, that means your oven has to preheat at that exact temperature as well, 180 degrees. If you're grilling ribs at 220 degrees Celsius, your oven has to preheat at that exact temperature as well. So if you're reading a recipe from Kylie from Wyoming and she didn't say word from word, you have to preheat your cooker, just know it goes without saying. Even if it's not said word for word, preheat your oven. If Kylie's recipe says she's going to bake her donuts at 180 degrees Celsius, that means automatically your oven also has to preheat at 180, and before you put in your donut dough, it has to be put in an oven that is already hot. When you put your dough in a cold oven at moto ishikie, when the dough is already inside, you will never get a good result. Preheating is very important, very paramount, and has to be done. If I'm baking a carrot cake at 170 degrees Celsius, that means I give my oven 5 minutes at 170, ishike hiyo moto. Then after 5 minutes, when the temperature is set at 170, ndo I put my cake in, and from that moment ndo naanza ku time my 90 minutes. Mna get? Yes. Guy, I hope mmeshika.
Real solitude all by yourself.
Okay, so now the final part for this video is just cleaning and maintenance. I get this question a lot as well, because some people look at my oven and they think it's brand new. No, baby girl, we've had it for a decade. So how do you maintain it? And my answer is always very simple and straightforward, plain and simple, usafi. It's very basic, if I may say so, but it's something that people may overlook, and I quite don't understand why. To maintain your oven, it's just as simple as, in the event you have a spill, in the event something splashes on it, or flour just, you know, like explosion of unga ukipika ugali, just wipe it down as immediately as you can. If your burners are still hot, ipatie like 5 minutes after you're done cooking, then wipe it down immediately. By letting stains and spills sit on your oven and calcify, that's what makes your oven run down. That's what makes your oven ugly and dirty. But to maintain it, not only its beauty but also its cleanliness, always wipe stains immediately they happen. That applies to the stove top, that applies to your oven, especially if you're baking something that tends to bubble over, like French onion soup, like lasagna, like pork ribs. They tend to bubble over. So once your oven has cooled down, like 5-10 minutes, as you're clearing your sink, also open your oven, wipe it down, make sure it's clean, make sure it's aerated. Do not leave room for uchafu to calcify. Do not let that sit on your oven. Do not entertain uchafu. Guys, please, please, usafi, it's paramount. How often should you clean your oven? As often as you can. I recommend after each use, be it breakfast. After breakfast, wipe it down. After lunch, wipe it down. After unaweza kupika supper, wipe it down. It goes without saying. Each time you use it, make sure once you're done, you leave it clean and sparkling. It goes without saying, but I just have to repeat. By making sure it's clean, that means you will have a clean, functional, beautiful cooker that will last you decades to come. And then finally, what can I use to make my cooker nice and shiny? I get this a lot as well. I mean, in our supermarkets, we have a lot of cleaning agents, like specifically for ovens and cookers, which it's up to you to decide if you want to use. Hakuna ubaya at all. However, in my opinion and what we use at home, just normal warm water, kipande soap, na kitambaa, it works. It's very basic, and it's also non-abrasive. Because this is a steel oven, sometimes I fear if I use a chemical kutakuwa na two reactions hapa, itakuwa spotty. So for me, what works is just the basic kitambaa, warm water, kipande. So when you're done cooking, just prepare kwa basin, then you just wipe it down and it will be fine. Simple is beautiful. Simple fulfills the function. However, if you want to go for the specific oven industrial cleaners, it's up to you. You're free to do what fits your desires. Now, in addition to the regular cleaning of your stove top after each use, as well as your oven, also make sure from time to time, I'd recommend weekly, you take apart the grill, you take apart the burners, and you clean within the burners, and you also clean the burners, so that the most stubborn stains that might have been accumulating during the week, you get rid of them. Also, you clean koyoshimo ya burner, like you make sure every single spot is nice, clean, and sparkling. And it just turns me on when something is so clean. Oh, I love it so much.
They say humans are social animals. They can't live alone. But you can live pretty well
So that also applies to your oven. Maybe you haven't used it for long, just do a nice wipe down, take everything apart, make sure it's nice and gleaming, then put it back together, and you'll have a nice, functional, beautiful oven for up to a decade. It's that simple. Usafi, usafi, usafi. And with that, guys, we have come to the end of this video. I hope I have answered all the questions you wanted to know. I hope I have cleared any question that I get 1,000 and million times in my DMs. But in case you have any other question, guys, I am here for you. Comment down below, and to the best of my ability, I will try to answer it and give you clarity and direction. I hope you love this video. If you have no question, just leave me a heart in the comments, and I would love just to see you interact with me. See you on my next video, guys. Bye.